Addie, the tiny horse who took over the kitchen. If you walked into our house at the wrong time, you might stop dead in your tracks. There'd be a tiny horse standing in the kitchen, chewing on something she had no business chewing, then following us down the hall like she owned the place. It's hard to believe that just a few days earlier, we weren't sure Addie was going to make it. We found her in the field beside her mother. Addie was supposed to have another month before she was born, but there she was, tiny, weak, and already in trouble. She hadn't eaten, and when we tried to bring her close to her mother to nurse, her mother kept kicking at her. That was enough to tell us something was wrong. Her mother was a first-time mom and had already been badly underweight and mistreated before we rescued her. We called the veterinarian and tried to get Addie nursing, but it just wasn't happening. After looking her over, the vet told us she needed food right away. There wasn't much time. If we couldn't take Addie home and keep her alive, the vet said there might not be another option. So we brought her home. For the next several days, our living room became a makeshift nursery. Addie was too weak to move around much, so I slept on the couch while she slept on the floor beside me. Every 30 minutes, she needed another bottle. 30 minutes, then another bottle. Day and night, that was the routine. Feed her, check on her, wait, do it again. We had no idea how long she could keep going. Then, 3 or 4 days in, Addie suddenly got to her feet. Nobody lifted her, nobody pulled her up. She pushed herself off the floor and stood there on her own. Then, she took a few steps. And pretty soon, we had a completely different problem. She started running. That tiny foal who could barely move was suddenly trotting around the house, and we quickly realized our house had not been designed with a horse in mind. We moved the kitchen island out of the way. Honestly, it was already getting chewed up. We put mats over the tile because Addie was still learning how to keep those little feet underneath her. Then she discovered the cabinets, she discovered the furniture, she discovered the laundry. Basically, if something was within reach, Addie wanted to investigate it. Every time I heard a strange noise from another room, I'd get up and go see what she had found this time, and Addie was perfectly happy with all of it. She loved being around people. If you stood still for long enough, she'd walk over and put her head against your leg. Then she'd follow you when you moved. She wanted to be right there. That made sense because people were pretty much all she knew. Then came the dogs. We had 2 rescued dogs, and Addie quickly became especially close to Marlin. Those two were together constantly. They ran through the yard, played with each other, and eventually ended up lying around side by side. Marlin would go somewhere and Addie would usually follow. Watching them, you almost had to laugh. Addie acted like she was a dog. But there was something she still needed to learn. She needed to learn how to be a horse. We lived about 45 minutes from the farm, so we started taking Addie out there for a few hours each day. She could run through the pasture, roll in the grass, explore, and spend time around other horses. The first few visits made one thing very clear. Living with people and dogs had been easy. Living with a herd was different. Addie was at the bottom of the pecking order. The other horses would chase her away and push her around. Sometimes she would turn and run straight back toward us. But then she'd go back out. She'd try again. A little farther this time. Then she'd stay out a little longer. She started figuring out when to move away, when to give another horse some space, and when she needed to stand her ground. Nobody could teach her all of that from the kitchen. She had to learn it out there. And she was learning. The change was pretty amazing when you remembered where she had started. This was the same foal who once couldn't get enough milk from her own mother and needed a bottle every 30 minutes just to get through the day. Now she was running across a pasture with horses much bigger than she was. Of course, keeping up with all of this wasn't easy. The farm was 45 minutes away, and Addie still needed somebody around at night. The family was making that drive back and forth, day after day. At one point, they even started thinking about putting a camper on the property so they could stay closer to her. That's what life with Addie had become. A tiny horse in the kitchen, a horse running with the dogs, a horse who loved bananas, opened cabinets, chewed furniture, and somehow managed to find something new to get into every day. And the funny thing is that fragile little foal from the field was still in there somewhere. She had just gotten a whole lot stronger. Today, Addie spends more time out at the farm, running through the pasture, and learning how to live with other horses. She's stronger, more confident, and much more comfortable finding her place in the herd. She still loves people, and Marlin is still one of her favorite companions. But every once in a while, Addie still finds her way back into the kitchen. And if she starts looking around for something to chew, everybody knows better than to leave anything within reach. She may be learning how to be a horse, but apparently, the kitchen is still hers.